Hey, welcome back. We wanted to take some time. Mark wanted to really highlight two areas of this property that are really special, and they did a phenomenal job. So we're going to start with the kitchen, and then we'll move to the great room. But since we're already in the kitchen, Mark, why don't you describe some of the things that you did here that you think are remarkable?
Well, thanks for saying that, Dave. One thing that I'm really impressed with my staff and my crew was our ability to fit the number of mechanicals in this kitchen. Because it's such a small unit, we had to fit not only the hot water tank, the pressure system, the UV system, and along with the hot water lines, cold lines, we had to find a way to fit all of those items in this particular spot. So what you see behind me here is a short stack hot water tank that is a huge space saver. And what we were able to do is fit what you would normally keep in a closet or a 3x3 area in your basement, and we were able to condense it down into the kitchen area. We've also constructed these removable panels, and my carpenter designed them so that we can pull them out when the hot water tank is no longer functional and easy to replace. We can replace it easily and then replace the panels without having too much of a disruption in the process. In addition to that, we've also, if you look behind Dave here, we have a UV system and a pressure tank that supplies some additional pressure to the water lines, and it also helps clarify the water with the UV system. So in the end, essentially, when you're working with a small space like this, a number of things that you can do in order to modify your space to make all these mechanicals work properly.
Yeah, and one of the things, I'll pop back in on frame, one of the things I want to give Mark a chance to talk about is that what was here before? I mean, he obviously, it was small, but I can tell you, if you saw earlier installments, this space was really tiny, and rough is not actually even a great word to describe it.
So what we did essentially is we rebuilt the entire room, starting with the foundation and the pillars below it, all the way to the carriage, to the subfloor, and then we have our brand new floor on top, which you can't see because it's being protected. In our final phase, once we show the finished product, you'll see that part. But for right now, it's important to know that when we built this, when we rebuilt it, I should say, we built it from the ground up, knowing that it's built with proper materials, it's built up to code, and everything is done with proper insulation. So the walls behind us here are properly insulated, the plumbing is properly insulated, and we know everything will be protected for future years to come.
That's great, because as a vacation rental, low maintenance is key, and obviously no surprises for guests is absolutely required. Hey, so we're back again, and before we move to the great room, I wanted to cover a little bit of the flooring itself. There's a lot that's been changed in this particular house, a lot that's been touched. So there's laminate floor that's going down in the great room and then also in the kitchen. But one of the things is that this hardwood floor that exists in this part of the great room and the bedroom, again, at one point in time was probably top of the line. But at this point in time, it detracts a little bit from the flow. And one of the things, if you've ever seen Panther Properties work before, they were really very concerned about that flow from areas that have been improved to maybe the existing areas to make sure that it's touched. Could you remark a little bit on that, what your plans are here?
Well, our plan is to refinish it basically. We're going to take it down like you would normally do it. We would sand it down, and the important part was that we create flow. And that's one thing I'm really proud of about is what we do is that with our team of designers is that we start the project from beginning and we follow through all the way to the end. We make sure that no stone is unturned. In essence, we want to make sure that when we walk away from this project that the property is complete and it flows from one room into the next and into the next. And so when the client first bought this property, the highlight of the property was that it had existing hardwood floors, and that was one of the selling points. However, now it's not so much, it's more of a hindrance at this point. Right. So we're going to make it right by sanding it down, making sure we get to the raw wood. We're going to stain it so it matches both the great room and the kitchen, and you have a continuous flow throughout the entire property.
Hey, what I love about that is that when you walk through this door as a guest for the first time, first impressions are huge, but it's going to look a much larger space than it actually is. And of course, the visual of having that flow continuously throughout the house is going to be an absolute plus. when people walk through the door and they are wowed, they're generally people that are going to be happy guests. So thanks, Mark.
Anytime, Dave.
Hey, so welcome back. So we're in now the great room, and we're going to get a chance to sort of go through this space. This space actually was really a bonus opportunity. Right in front of where that camera is shooting, how about it, Mark, was a post that sat right in the middle of the space.
Yeah.
That really was awkward, and it really divided this side, if you will, the great room from that one over there. And so we didn't know, the owners didn't even know that that was an opportunity to even take it out. But your guys actually kind of came in and determined that we could move that out. However, with making some structural changes, right?
Indeed. One of the things that we'd like to be as flexible throughout the project, we like to work with the owner, making sure that we both achieve the goal. But there's certain times throughout the project where you can modify the game plan and you can make things a little bit better. And in this case, we made things a lot better. By removing this post that was right in front of the camera that you see before you now, and it just obstructed the view between the great room and the dining room and the kitchen. While removing that post, we've allowed a continuous flow through the property, and what once was just kind of an average room, we have made it one of the special features of this unit. Not only did we were able to remove this post right in front of us, but we've also were able to vault the ceiling as well. This original ceiling was much shorter. It made it feel claustrophobic and short, but by vaulting the ceiling and insulating it the proper way, we were able to make this a key figure for this place.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because I saw the drop ceiling, Mark, and it was awful. And they could have certainly put in a brand new, updated drop ceiling, but the fact of the matter would be is that then we lose all of this space, this vaulted space, if you will. And it's obviously the whole camera, the whole video that we're doing today, one of the reasons why we did it is really do it in midpoint. So we're at the midpoint of the remodel, maybe a little further than midpoint, but we're not done. And so we'll come back, we'll show the finished product. But Mark, do you want to talk a little bit about how you're going to use this espresso trim as really as an accent piece to the rest of the area?
Sure, Dave. One of the things that we like to do is make sure that there's no stone unturned. And so that comes down to the very final details with trim and making sure that we have the proper color placement. And this trim that I'm holding in my hand here is the espresso finish that we have in our kitchen cabinets. And we're going to use the same finish on the vaulted ceiling. And we're going to supply 1x4s going vertically, perpendicular to the current flow of the ceiling to draw a little bit of contrast, draw your eye to it, and create a little bit of a nice finish for the great room.
Hey, I love that too because the reality is that the connection visually to the cabinetry in the kitchen and these trim pieces is going to be spectacular. There's enough light, if you will, in this particular property, and there's a light gray and white trim, so it really has the opportunity really to have a dark accent, which will really look great. It'll certainly pop.